Hi, everyone. Welcome to Something Genuine. I'm Twwk, your host, and I'm so grateful that you're here with us again. This series, if you've watched any of it, is all about kind of slowing down, tuning out all that noise that's out there, and getting to know the human being behind like the titles, the achievements, the online personas, all that stuff with our guests. So that's where I'm actually going to start today with those kind of achievements before we really dig down and get to know her. This is someone who's made history. And she's done it with authenticity, with compassion, with a whole lot of heart. She is the first Black woman ever to be crowned Miss Wisconsin. And she's also a passionate voice for mental health awareness and for the arts. And of course, since this is an anime podcast, I have to mention that she's an unapologetic anime and manga nerd. So anyway, I'm really excited to introduce her to you. Her story bridges pageantry, advocacy, and fandom in a way that I feel is like uniquely her own. This is a story we're not going to hear anywhere else. So I'm excited for you to hear from her and see the person behind the crown. Please welcome Willow Newell. Hi, Willow. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
No, I'm so excited to have you. We chatted just a little bit before we jumped on, and I just I feel like I'm really getting to talk to you in just this crazy whirlwind of a time for you. Let's see, let me try to get the timeline right. But was it June was Miss Wisconsin?
Yes, June was
And
Miss Wisconsin. September was Miss America.
okay, oh my gosh. So it feels like that was a while ago, but I bet it's still like going
It's
100
so
miles an hour
fresh.
for you.
Yeah, it's so fresh. And it was so crazy, just like processing the fact that I had won Miss Wisconsin after 10 years of competing. It was impossible. Like, it wouldn't sink in for me. And then, processing now that I've come back from Miss America already, just taking what I learned from that experience. It's all been a blessing, but it's also a difficult process. So I love sharing with people how it feels and what it's like to kind of be busy, but then also just be processing so many huge changes in my life.
Yeah, and I definitely want to talk about all that. It's a world I'm not really familiar with. I mean, I grew up watching, with my family watching pageants on TV and everything, but I'm kind of separated from it as I grew up. So I want to learn more about what your experience was like. But I should mention right at the beginning, just because viewers might be like, what is Miss Wisconsin doing on this show? That I found you because you're an anime fan, and so I want to just ask you right up front, like, how did you come to like anime, and also what are maybe some of those defining series for you?
Oh my God, yay. I'm so excited to get to
The
nerd
fun
out.
stuff. Hmm.
Yes. So I started watching anime when I was 11 years old.
Okay.
My cousins grew up watching like Bleach because they're millennials. So they grew up watching like Bleach and Naruto and all of those. But I never really got into it until I was one of the weird kids in the back of the classroom, made
Hmm.
friends with the other weird kids. And they were like, you need to watch this. You need to watch this. And it was spring break and I watched Ouran High School Host Club.
Really?
Yeah.
That's such an interesting first anime. I would have never expected that.
Oh my God. I was sitting at my computer at my grandmother's house and I logged on to like Hulu at the time and I fell in love. Like the intro, the kiss, kiss, fall in love. Like
Mhm. Oh, yes.
it had me immediately. And I was
Oh my
like,
goodness.
who are these boys? They're drawn out, but they're so attractive. And I'm like fangirling. And then I go back to school and we like named each other each of the characters' names. And so from then on, I started watching different types of anime and then reading manga. And even now it's kind of like my little hobby. I used to take myself out of the stress of everyday life.
What are some of the manga that you've read, fairly recently or that you're really enjoying?
I love it's I don't know if it's well known, but it's called Blood on the Tracks. It's a really good
Oh.
series. And then just reading like the TV show, like manga, so like Attack on Titan is really good. I
Mhm.
like some of the action-based things, so Chainsaw Man. Black Butler has always been my favorite.
Oh.
So I watched the TV series, and then I'm
Mhm.
now reading the books for those.
Okay.
And then I also, of course, love like the romance ones. So, oh my gosh, is Your Lie in April? There's a manga for that too. So
There
good.
is.
I can go on and on. I like Haikyuu, the volleyball one.
Oh my gosh. I this morning I was trying to so when I'm interviewing guests, I try to wear something or have a poster in the background that's related to them. And I don't have anything for you, right? But
Yeah.
I have a Haikyuu jersey. And for a second I
Ah,
was like, I wonder if she's a Haikyuu fan.
yes.
But I'm glad I didn't wear it because it doesn't fit anymore. No, but it's in
Yeah.
there. Yeah, no, that's did you watch the most recent season of Black Butler? Because it came back like a year or two ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I started watching it actually, and I think it was right after Miss Wisconsin, so I didn't have time to finish.
Oh,
I
okay.
watched the school arc. That was the
Okay.
most recent one I watched.
Okay.
It
Okay.
was really good.
I love that. I mean, I wanted to kind of get all this up front because you know how it's weird. It's a weird environment today, and I just feel like someone's going to say, "There's no way Miss Wisconsin's a real fan."
Yes.
But starting out with Ouran is like that's it. That's okay. Now we know. You know.
Terrifying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I definitely want to maybe afterwards somehow connect you with Caitlin Glass, who plays the Haruhi in the dub, and she directs the show, and
How
she's a
cool
really
was that?
close friend of mine.
Oh,
So
stop. That's so cool.
yeah, no, she's so nice. She's awesome. So we'll get you all connected. But no, that's super cool. I love that. Black Butler, that's so cool too. Attack on Titan, which is so different from all the rest of these. What drew you into that series?
Oh, oh my gosh. It was my friends. They really recommended so many great shows. And then,
Mm,
I'm watching this and my mom hadn't like seen anime or she wasn't really into it. So she was like, "What are you watching?" I was young. It's a little bit violent.
yeah,
But I love the storyline. And now, like, as Attack on Titan finished, I ended up watching with my family and they got really into it.
really.
Yeah. And I just love how at the end, no spoilers, but it's really just like, it's highlighting the cycle kind of life and it's relatable even now to what we go through in the world. It's
Oh
just so
yeah.
good.
Oh gosh, yeah. There's so much depth to it, and it's that bittersweet kind of ending because of the
Yeah.
violence of the world. And oh my gosh, yeah. There's definitely so much. I love that your family is
Yes.
into it. You mentioned your cousins too, who are a little bit older.
Yeah.
Have you talked to them about being an anime fan now too?
Oh, absolutely. I share with them my recommendations, then they get back to me and they watch things. And so I watch the stuff like from before I was born in the 90s. And
Oh,
it's just such a great community. I
mhm,
think growing up, especially like in middle school, there was kind of like a stigma around kids who watch anime. So like I even described myself as like the weird kid because that's what I was called. But
mhm.
I think now there's more of a love and appreciation for people who like different art forms and different shows from different cultures. Even like with K-pop and everything, like everyone has more of a worldview because of social media and an appreciation for outside cultures. So it's really cool.
That's very true. Actually, I want to talk a little bit about that because as soon as you said that you were the weird kid, I was thinking, we because of social media, because of the proliferation of all this entertainment we can watch, Crunchyroll, Netflix has anime
Yes.
now. Well, it's become more mainstream. So, like I guess the last quarter of 2025, we had several number one movies at the theaters that were anime or kind of Asian-y at least. So there's Demon Slayer, Chainsaw Man, and then also K-pop Demon Hunters
Yeah.
that all were like huge hits. So anime is kind of coming to the mainstream more,
Yeah.
and it's a little less nerdy, but th- I don't know if there's anything as American as Miss America.
Yeah.
So I just kind of wondered if you had any kind of trepidation because what I saw was an interview with you while like all that was going on, where you mentioned Black Butler actually, and I think Attack on Titan. Did you have any trepidation in mentioning like your fandom when you were kind of going through all the pageantry process?
Yeah. Competing starting at like the same age I kind of started watching anime. I never
Mm,
brought it up because I didn't feel like people would understand.
sure.
And I eventually realized this last year that I would only be successful if I were to share like every part of myself
Mm,
because I wasn't being authentic before.
mhm.
So, me going home and watching anime, it's really a part of who I am and how I decompress. And so, like, when the judges in the interview, at first, when I was competing, they would ask me, "What do you do for fun?" I would make something up, or like I just
Yeah.
wouldn't say, and there was nothing to
What do you want
share.
to hear?
Yeah, like I would try to make up what they wanted to hear. So I'd be like, "I do community service and I'm out in the community." And then this year I shared, of course, I went to go see Howl's Moving Castle and I cried, and the judges loved it. because I was being my authentic self and they learned something about me. And so I learned that, just sharing who I am and sharing about my love for anime was the best thing to do.
That's so cool. How's Moving Castle?
Oh,
That's so cool. No, I mean, so when I'm reading your story, I'm thinking about how important it is that you're the first Black Miss Wisconsin, and the doors you're knocking down by doing that. But I think there are people who are probably watching this that are thinking, "Oh my gosh, maybe the first otaku, Miss
yeah.
Wisconsin, or at least out there and sharing it, a contestant for Miss America. That's really cool. You're just knocking down doors one after another. That's that's
Thanks.
pretty amazing. Okay, well, back to the kind of the pageant stuff and Miss America. So from June to September, it's not a lot of time. Was it more anxious for you going into the contest, or was it fun? Was it this kind of mix of both?
I realized I got whiplash,
Yeah,
like
it
how
sounds
fast
like.
everything went. Going into the competition, I was telling myself, I'm okay, I'm okay. And I was so busy with like appearances. So I had more media interviews just because of the historicness of my win than most Miss Wisconsin usually do. And then a lot of different communities wanted to see me that usually don't book Miss Wisconsin because, organizations that really cater to people of color and
Mm,
people who are usually outcast really wanted to see me. And I wanted to make sure I said yes to every single event. So before going, I had at least 50 events, and I didn't really get to hone in on just like the celebration of everything or just focusing on the fact that like I finally accomplished a goal and I'm going to Miss America. And I didn't realize that this was affecting me mentally until I got to Miss America. And it kind of hit me when I was there. I was like, oh my God, I'm actually here.
mm,
I haven't had time to rest. I haven't really slept. I haven't really had time to prepare myself mentally like I wanted to. And so
mhm.
dealing with that during the week was very hard for me. I really enjoyed the week. I made so many friends. My family was there to love and support me. But coming home, I had to really sit with the fact that I wasn't able to mentally process everything as I thought I would my whole life. Because, you wait for this moment to go to Miss America and you have this perfect image. And just because of like the nature of everything and how fast everything was, I wasn't able to perfect it. So it's sitting at home and dealing with that. And that's been hard. I think it's hard for anyone. But I've realized that, it's a good journey and I'm learning and I'm only 22 and going forward for either pageants or working in the industry that I'll continue to use that knowledge to like take care of myself beforehand and take time to process things.
I was talking to another guest recently, and we were talking about age, and she had posted something on Instagram that she had posted from somewhere else where there's this feeling in your late 30s that, oh my gosh, my life is over, sort of thing,
Yeah.
and we're talking about, oh my gosh, no, you gain so much wisdom with age, right? I mean, you already sound like you have a lot of wisdom. You are literally half my age. I'm 44, so you're literally half my age. You got so much more to experience in life. But it's really cool that you're able to kind of reflect on this and kind of deal with it. I'm getting the sense that you feel like maybe you weren't able to give your best at Miss America. Is that
Absolutely.
how you feel?
Yes, I do. And it's my
Yeah.
first time admitting that too, but I think it's time, to say that because it's true. And I love being authentic. And this is a moment of authenticity. So, yeah.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's wonderful that the way it seems like that you've kind of dealt with this is understanding the idea of the journey, right? Like
Yes.
there's so much pressure on. I can't even imagine how much pressure there must be on Miss America, that event,
Yeah.
right? But to understand that, like, even though you did like 50 appearances beforehand, those may have been just as important as the event, right? And then what's
Yeah.
happening now since then, that's really important too. And the event itself and what you learn from that,
Yeah.
that's the growth that you got to do from that, and all the meetings that you made and with other people, and then the friendships too. I wonder, I think culturally, and this is probably fed by by movies and documentaries and things like that. We think of like pageants, but maybe even especially like something big like Miss America or Miss Wisconsin, as there being like a lot of fighting behind the scenes. But you mentioned friendships.
Yeah. It's totally different than toddlers and tiaras. The moms aren't
Yeah,
as crazy. The other contestants aren't as crazy.
that's
Um,
good.
it's really awesome. It's really a sisterhood. So, like, competing for Miss Wisconsin, I felt like I was a part of a family. Going
Mm,
in, you just feel comfortable getting to know everyone. We always have roommates whenever we compete.
Hmm.
So for Miss Wisconsin, I spent the time with Miss Milwaukee, and her and I, before the final competition, we're getting ready and we're listening to Hamilton, and we're like singing along, we're doing our makeup, and it was just a really fun bonding experience. It's like a time to grow a network of sisters, in a time when like you feel like you wouldn't be able to. And then for Miss America, I grew really close to Miss Kentucky.
Oh,
And so I personally hate watching pageants. It makes me
yeah.
so anxious because I want everyone to do well. And so we're watching the teen competition, the Miss America's teen competition. And Miss Kentucky and I are holding hands watching it because she knew I was nervous.
Mm,
And so we bonded. And now we're going to see each other when Miss America homecoming happens. So we're all going to New York to celebrate with Cassie, the new Miss America.
okay.
And so me and her will be rooming together, me and Miss Kentucky. And so it's really a
Oh,
friendship and a sisterhood. It's
that's
beautiful.
so exciting. Oh, I just love hearing that. And especially you all are from different parts of the country and coming together and finding common ground. And that's wonderful stuff. So where from Wisconsin did you represent at Miss Wisconsin?
My hometown, Racine.
Okay. Where
Yeah.
is that in Wisconsin? I'm sorry. I'm from
Yeah.
Texas, so I'm
Oh,
pretty
yeah. Oh
far
my God.
away.
Yeah. So, Milwaukee, like the city of Milwaukee where the Bucks are,
Hmm.
it's like right under there. So 45
Okay.
minutes and then like an hour north of Chicago. So we're right in the middle.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
My family's actually from Illinois, so
Cool.
they've probably been there. No, that's really
Yeah.
neat. Okay, well, maybe continuing to talk about like since we're talking about anxiety, we might as well talk a little bit about mental health.
Yes.
I think it's wonderful how you've advocated for it.
You.
How you mentioned being genuine, how that's been really important as well in your journey. I mean, what is it that's kind of sparked this passion in you to talk about mental health awareness?
When I was 17, I was diagnosed with OCD. And I did not know, like, you hear about OCD all the time in the media and everything. And people say, I have OCD, I like cleaning. I never thought I'd be diagnosed with it.
Mhm.
So it's obsessive compulsive disorder. And this manifested in my life throughout my childhood. I was always worried about tragedy happening. I was worried about germs. I had this like irrational worry that really interrupted my daily life and my daily functioning. And so when you have an obsession, it's usually a thought that's uncomfortable, and you have a compulsion, something you do to try to get rid of that thought.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
had to go through therapy to get rid of those thoughts and also those compulsions that I had, whether it be rechecking things or overthinking things or seeking reassurance from other people. And that took some time. This is the same time that I'm competing. And so I didn't open up about it to the judges or anything as I was competing. But I realized that it was something that made me stronger. Facing my fears, going through that exposure therapy that I did was a part of who I was. And I knew that if I didn't receive that help, I would still be struggling today. So I was like, if I get this title, I told the judges if I become Miss Wisconsin, I'm going to advocate for mental health because there's so many people who are out there struggling and they have no idea that they're struggling from specific illnesses or conditions.
Hmm. Do you still deal with OCD at all?
Every day.
Mhm.
I don't think OCD goes away. It just kind of meshes and changes throughout your life. And there's these things called cognitive distortions. And so we all have them during different eras of our life. And so like now it's like the Miss America, Miss Wisconsin era. How will I fear not being perfect sometimes, or I have a perfectionism
Mhm.
thing going on during this era. So it's really dealing with that and like talking to a therapist regularly and making sure that I'm always in check and taking care of myself and giving myself breaks.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, therapy can be so helpful. And then we find, what's the word for it? We find different practices that help us deal with the situations when they come up, right?
Absolutely.
That's important. I was actually talking to another guest who, she was diagnosed with OCD as well
No way.
years ago. Yeah, and for her, a couple things she noted was one, voice acting really helped her. So I think that performance, it can be helpful. It could probably be a source of the anxiety and all that as well, but that could be helpful too, I imagine. And she also mentioned for her, really exercise like made a
Yeah.
huge difference in her life. I mean, have you found either of those to be helpful for you?
Yeah. Like you're hitting the nail on the head right there. Exercise has been amazing for me. And I love that about the Miss America organization is they took out swimsuit a few years ago and they exchanged it with health and fitness. And so
Mhm.
that initiative really encouraged me to like get in the gym, take care of my physical health, but then also my mental health was affected by that too. Staying active every day helps me with like those OCD struggles, and then the arts, which is like my community service initiative. I've been able to express myself through the arts. So anything that I'm going through, whether I sing or I dance or I like watching different forms of art, it's really been so helpful. So it's kind of all, it ties in together, mental health, the arts, and exercise. It's really changed my life.
Can you tell me about the art of belonging?
I love this initiative so much. I, coming out of college, or when I was in college, I was able to work at a middle school. It was my first job in the arts. I directed Shrek the Musical.
Oh.
We did Aladdin. We did Beauty and the Beast. And so I was given the amazing opportunity by a wonderful woman to come in and like teach dances and help kind of direct the kids.
Mhm.
And it was at that moment that I realized the impact that I was having just by working with those kids. So there were some students who were very shy, very awkward, going through middle school like I was, and they thought they were the weird kid, but they really had this love for performing. They wanted to be on stage. And so when I would see them and give them a role to come up to the front of the stage and kind of have a dance, it really brightened their day and it made them smile. And that's the moment I knew. I was like, this is what I want to do throughout my time as a title holder.
Mhm.
And so I perfected it when I became Miss Wisconsin, or before becoming Miss Wisconsin, to not just reaching out to kids who are marginalized or feel like they don't belong, but really any marginalized group. So I love going to nursing homes and talking to old people and performing for people who have memory issues, going to just different communities where they'd be like farm agriculture towns where they don't really receive the arts or musicals. Working with the developmentally disabled is something I love to do. Like I perform for them for Christmas sometimes and we'll sing Christmas songs together. And so really just like touching the lives of those who feel like they don't belong through the arts, just like I did. And like anime being one of those arts, the art of media, it helped me growing up. And so I just want to be able to bring that access to other people.
Yeah. Do you see, and this may be a difficult question. I mean, you're great at answering questions. That's that's part of what you do, right? But
Thanks.
this one might be harder. So, or maybe it's not. I mean, do you feel like there's any overlap then between that your love of anime and manga and I guess the work that you're doing and mental health and all that.
Definitely. Oh my God, that's such a good question. Absolutely. Um, I love that I feel like anime is this very, very special like genre, if I
Mhm.
may say,
Mhm.
where like the stories of the characters are just so deep and they're
Mhm.
so complicated.
Mhm.
And there are issues that are touched on that a lot of Western media fails to highlight. That's what I love about anime.
Mhm.
A lot of the themes can be darker sometimes, like things that people don't want to discuss, like Black Butler, for instance, Seal Phantom Hive. His parents pass away. He's like running this company as a kid. But it talks about grief and loss and pain and kind of like identity and all these things that I didn't really see in the media here in the West that I really wanted to see. So I love that I'm able to process certain emotions that I'm not able to process through anime, like, that I'm not able to process in regular everyday life. And then there's also an overlap because it's all about storytelling and expressing yourself through different forms. And I want to do that in my career. I've been able to do that as Miss Wisconsin. I hope to eventually kind of make my own films when I get my master's. So it's all interconnected. Yeah, I love that question. I'm like thinking about it now, but it's all interconnected. And I think anime is a beautiful art form that allows us to kind of tap into parts of ourselves that we don't otherwise get to tap into.
If you make a manga or anime film one day, don't forget us.
Absolutely not.
You're
You'll be
like,
there for sure.
yeah, so tell me about that. Like what are you planning for the future? Because I know about your musical talent. That's a part of, the pageants and all and so forth. You've mentioned all sorts of dancing and anime and manga and all sorts of storytelling, all sorts of different arts. What is it that 22 is young to ask, what are you going to do with the rest of your life? But what is it that you're like focusing on in the future?
Yeah, I just graduated in May with my bachelor's
Oh,
in musical theater.
musical theater. Okay, well that now it all makes sense. Congratulations, first of all. What was the university you went to?
Carthage College. It's a small college here in Kenosha,
Oh,
well, next to Racine. So like it goes Milwaukee, Racine, Kenosha, Chicago.
you sound so Wisconsin right now. I just have to say Kenosha, Racine.
Yeah.
It just feel I love I just suddenly feeling the whole Midwest vibe from you right now. No, I
Yes.
love it. That's awesome. Okay, so congratulations, you graduated, and
Thank you.
what's the plan now?
I really, really, really want to get my master's. So I knew I always wanted to storytell like
Mm,
the anime and with music and the arts. I wanted to study musical theater, not just to like enhance my vocal talents, but just
Mhm.
because I love like diving into stories. And we learned a lot about character development and like Stanislavski's method of
Mhm.
acting.
Mhm.
And I did that because I knew I wanted to direct movies. Like I want to write movies, I want to direct them. So planning on getting my master's, I'm actually in the midst of filling out applications for different master's programs around the country to see where I
Okay.
might go next year.
Well, you've got a unique story, probably compared to a lot of people that are applying. I think that's going to hopefully make a big difference. Well, I mean, how many Miss Wisconsins are going to be applying for for
True.
directorial school? That's so cool. Do you have what are some favorite like musicals for you?
Oh, oh my God. Les Mis is my favorite of all time. So good. I cry. I'm a sucker for sad stories, sad, miserable stories
That one's
that are,
pretty sad.
yeah, that are
Yeah.
told well. So I got to see that recently in Milwaukee. Um, Hamilton, of
Yeah,
course,
you mentioned
Wicked.
Hamilton.
Oh, there's so many good ones. Like I like the golden age of Broadway, so like Rodgers and Hammerstein, um, original like just classics, and then I also like newer contemporary stuff. Like *And Juliet* is pretty good. The Betty
Okay.
Boop musical is pretty good. These are like
Really?
new
Okay.
ones that are just like coming out.
Have you been to Broadway?
No, can you
Oh.
believe that?
So So I took my family to New York a couple years ago, and so I was like, okay, we got to do Broadway. None of us have ever been to it. Let's. There's so many different shows. We'd watched Hamilton at home like 10 times.
All
We
the
loved
time.
it so much,
Yeah.
and I was like, do you want to try Wicked? Do you want to try? And they were like Hamilton, and I was like, ah,
Yes.
okay, let's do Hamilton. And I'm so glad we did. It was just, I was like, oh my goodness, it was just so amazing. Even though we'd known it so intimately inside and out, just watching it so many times on Disney, we're like, wow, that was incredible. So yeah, you got to get out there and watch
Is
something.
I did see Wicked on the West End. So like
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I
Well, there
ended
you go.
up crying in the front row
Oh,
because that musical is just so beautiful. But there's something so magical about live theater. Like you can know a musical and listen to it, but like seeing it live,
I
it's
can see why
amazing.
performers like they go to a stage, they go watch something on stage. They're like, yeah, I want to. That's what I want to do. So many people talk about the essence of acting is happening on the stage, not necessarily on camera work or voice acting work, but they see that and they want to be a part of that. Have you ever done any? You must have done some stage work then as a musical theater.
Yeah, the last show I did was Hair.
Oh,
When I was in college. It's such
fun.
a it's such a controversial show, but it's so, so good,
Is it
and I
still
was
controversial 50 years later? Like, is
I
this
think so.
still,
We had some
yeah, maybe even
conversations
more
at our
so now. I
college.
don't know. It's a crazy time.
It is a crazy time, and we had some more conversations about it just because of, like, the political atmosphere at the
Mm,
time,
mm,
um, with certain songs we had to, like, take out or kinda change just to make people more
mm.
comfortable because we did do some high school shows to
Okay.
perform for different audiences, but it's so good. I played Dion, I got to sing Aquarius at the beginning of the show and open it up, and I am an Aquarius, so I just felt like the role was meant for me, but that was the last show I did, so I hope after the pageant scene is done, I get to get back into live theater.
Well, I'm so excited to see what happens in your career, and as you continue to move forward. I feel like you've really shown that like you can go do anything. You got the passion and skill, and you've dived into it, and the way I think you connecting with people too. Obviously, you have the gift for connecting with people and empathy with
Thanks.
people. So that's just so awesome. I do want to leave you with maybe a fun question, which
Yeah.
is so we know that you've done all this you want to direct, you've done theater. You've done pageants, of course, a lot of music stuff. But if you were involved in anime or manga, if you're involved in that industry, what is it that you'd like to do?
Oh my god, okay. Um, I would love to create a manga.
Hmm.
That would be so awesome. Like, okay, for one, I would really love to meet some of, like, the writers of my favorite shows.
Mm,
I just thought about Erased, changed my life, the series Erased. I'd
yeah,
love to meet the director, the creator of that show, and the book. But then to eventually hear their opinions and kind of perfect my own storyline that's, like, drawn out and maybe published. That's my goal. So if you have any connections or if anyone's
yeah.
watching
Well,
this that knows.
there's a lot of people doing it right now, and there's it's really difficult to say like break into the Japan publishing industry, right? But there's so
Right.
many English language manga that are being released now.
Yeah.
whether they're kind of crowdfunded or and some of them are pretty high quality. Like it's like, oh, this is really great stuff because we have people like yourself who grew up absorbing these stories and wanting to create and having those skills. So yeah, and I can you've got a lot of stuff going on, but I can imagine you doing that also. No, that's so cool. And Erased, another great anime that you mentioned. Yeah, so I was reading that mangaka's most recent work right now. And it doesn't hit like Erase, but it's still like it's hard to read because you have this sense of dread like the whole time, and the drawings are like this. The style is kind of cutesy, right? Like, it's like, oh, they're cute looking characters, but it's like, oh,
Like, oh
something
God, what's gonna happen to
horrible
me?
is gonna happen. And this
Disaster.
Oh
Get
yeah,
my
no,
feeding.
that's such a cool series. Like, oh my gosh. So, well, thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you for sharing your heart with us and all the things you have going on. I hope that people are going to be like supporting you so much and what they do after they see this. Where are the best places to kind of track you and follow you? Because I went to your link tree and I was like, oh, Twitter, because I'm active on Twitter. I was like, click on that. You're not active on Twitter.
I'm not.
Well, where are you active? But that's okay. It's a cesspool. Where are you? Where are you active? Where can people follow keep up with you?
Instagram and TikTok are my main methods of like publishing. It's how you can see what I'm doing during my events as Miss Wisconsin, learn more about me. I also am on YouTube. I've created a couple videos, so I'll be getting those published as well. But Instagram and TikTok at Willow is Willow and also at Miss Wisconsin to see everything that I'm doing and learn more about me.
Very cool. Yeah, please build up that YouTube so that when this airs, we can we can cross populate and
Yeah,
be
let's
all.
do it.
Well, we'll tag you regardless. But yeah, no, so please follow Willow on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, all the places that she is. Go to the Miss Wisconsin site to see. It's really a great site to see because you see all the wonderful things that you're involved in and that you're advocating for. And I hope that the rest of your reign goes really well. And I
Thank
appreciate you
you.
joining us today.
Thank you. This was so much fun. Thank you for having me.
Good. Yeah, let us know how we can support you in anything that you're doing out there. And thank you all for joining us. We appreciate it. And we will see you all later.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
That was awesome, right? She was so great. I'm so happy to have Willow on. I'm so happy to introduce her to you because I feel like the audience for this video today is probably half people who know who Willow is and want to support her, and then half people who are in anime and probably are like me and just don't keep up with the pageant scene anymore. So I'm happy to introduce her to that group and maybe introduce anime a little bit to the other group. And either way, I hope that you got a lot out of that. I'm sure you did. Willow's so genuine and kind, and just great to talk to. We didn't even get to talk really about her being the first Black Miss Wisconsin, which is such a big deal. Super cool. But regardless, I think what was really cool about that interview was Willow talking about storytelling. Right? I think that really gets us. The things she was talking about that drew her to anime, the depth of anime, the really cool storytelling, how it treats us as adults. Even teenage series treats us as adults more than a lot of contemporary stuff we see in the West. That's that connecting point. And she got into anime, just doing the math, probably just 10, 12 years ago. I got into anime 25 years ago, but it's the same things that drew us in, right? The beauty of the storytelling, the beauty of the art. That connecting point is so great. And I think it's really cool how the first Black Miss Wisconsin, who is just out of college, 22 years old, musical theater person, could connect with someone in Texas who's twice her age, an Asian American guy who is a historian, and for those who don't know, that's what I do, and a blogger. Like, how different can we be? And yet anime draws us together. That's a connecting point. And I don't think it's just anime. I really think it's just kind of deeper heart things that connect us to anime. The creativity, the beauty, the depth, the human connection that's there. And I hope that's what you're seeing too. That's how you may see people that are totally different from you, in a different world from you, that actually there are really kind of deep matters that connect us. That's really what we're trying to do here on Something Genuine, is to show the depth that we have in humanity, that we have in ourselves, that connect us all as human beings. So anyway, I hope that you enjoyed that interview today. Please follow Willow. What a great person. And please follow us too, and subscribe and share and let people know what we're doing here on Something Genuine. Take care, guys, and God bless.